Good morning and welcome to the November Gareth Johnston Golf newsletter. And after several requests, I received a few for some help around the greens in the bunkers. So I've got a couple of scenarios here. I've got the high soft floated bunker shot, which Harrington's going to demonstrate. And then there is the 50-yard bunker shot, which is probably one of the hardest trap shots to play, demonstrated by Ernie Els. Now, there are lots of different ways to play these bunker shots, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that will work, that these guys do, that will help you get yourselves out of these pressure situations time and time again. Now let's focus on Harrington first. If you look here in this left hand image, you'll first of all note that he has a huge amount of loft on the club head. So you can see here all of this loft at the bottom. That face is wide open. It's as though it's looking straight up at him, and you can then see from that okay, he's got a fraction of shaft lean at address. I'm not a big fan of that, but you'll see what happens through impact that negates that. Now, key things here, as he moves through impact, as he moves up to the top of the golf swing and down into the impact area, I just want you to note how stable his left knee stays here. His left knee really doesn't do a huge amount of movement now. It starts to stabilise around about now, and what you'll note is that has a huge effect on the club's delivery through impact. So the left knee's quiet now, and this now allows the club to hit the sand under control. Now if you start moving that left knee around, if you start softening that left knee, you are going to shift either too much towards the target, and that will then in turn get you catching the ball too cleanly, or if you soften your left knee and back your spine away from the target in an attempt to help the ball up, you'll start bottoming the club out too early. So trying to keep the left knee really stable and quiet through impact will help you control where the club hits the ground. So from that, as he now moves into impact, you'll note, remember I said about the shaft lean, look at how quickly the lean is disappeared, or the lean disappears through impact, and the club head itself has now overtaken the golf ball with all of that loft on. So really in layman's terms, he's kept his left knee really solid, he's got an open club face, and he's accelerated the club head underneath and past the golf ball very quickly. Now we call that releasing the club correctly through the bunker, and what you'll note now as he swings through, if I just play this, look at how quickly he turns his chest and his head to follow the flight of the golf ball. So he's now rotating aggressively through the shot. If I show you that from down the line, you'll see face is open, swings up to the top of the backswing. Watch how quickly he lets the club head pass the ball. You won't see it as well from this angle, but look how quickly his head and chest turn to follow the flight of the golf ball. So how high and soft that ball has come out just demonstrates the amount of loft on it. And then you'll note that he hasn't carved a huge crater out of the bunker. The sand, albeit there is an explosion there, there is only a small amount of sand that's come out, and that is down to him having the face open and using the back edge of that golf club, the bounce part of the golf club that is so often spoken about. That's what happens when you use that correctly. You can thump the club into the sand, let the club overtake the golf ball as a feeling when you're around the greens, and as long as you keep turning hard, you'll keep the speed in the club, and the ball will come out nice and high and soft. So really, just to summarise those couple of points, you've got the face open, you've got a really stable left knee through the shot, and you're just going to accelerate the club past the golf ball and follow the flight of the golf ball with the chest and the head. And that will then allow, I mean, that is an amazing, amazing move there, and that will then allow you to keep the loft on it. Now, if you then look at Els, this is one of the harder shots where he's squeezing a shot around about 50 yards, and it's very difficult. You can see the incline in the ground here, you can see how high the face goes, and just watch the difference here. He catches the ground very late, so he takes very little sand. So here you can see he's right in behind the golf ball, catches the ball with an absolutely tiny amount of sand, and then he is not letting the club head pass the ball. Look, it's a very different move. He's keeping the loft off of it. Much lower launch, much lower flight. You can see the difference in the ball speed. It's coming off much hotter, much faster. He's stopped that club from overtaking his hands, which has then allowed him to keep the loft that was at address. So really two different ways to play it. The soft, floaty shot has got a big thump of sand, and the club is bottoming out just a touch before the ball, as you'll see here. Look at where it hits the sand. A couple of inches before it. Uses the bounce wonderfully. Here you can see he's using leading edge a little bit more. Bit of a sharper blow, bit of a sharper downward blow, less sand before impact. You can see where the club's bottomed out. It's right here in the middle of his stance, and he's not allowing that club to overtake the hand, so he's squeezing it to the back of the green. Alright, he still in turn rotates through and turns his head and chest through, but he's used the club very differently to what Harrington has. Try to experiment with these two different ways to play it, and hopefully these will help you to knock a few shots off when you're playing around the greens. Hope you've enjoyed this analysis. For any more information, please email me at gareth@garethjohnstongolf.com. Hope you've enjoyed this month's newsletter. See you very soon.